Alright, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, day number 130. So, once again, here's the standard intro. Nothing has changed on the rent eviction front, so we're almost at the 1 month mark off until the next hearing. And as usual, we're going to be working toward the next release of the terminal block mining simulation game. Today, I continued working on the next video. I think I'm starting to get my momentum back on that. I finished the script writing has been finished, and I've actually started recording now. Script writing is it's a bit more difficult because it's such an open-ended task. There's no I can always make it longer or kind of change the wording to be a bit more clear or something. But then once it's done, then it's just the mechanical process of film this and that and edit this and that and say this line, and so that'll I guess maybe a potential ETA. Maybe I could get it out this week. That's probably not unrealistic. So maybe I'll try to target for that. There's going to be a bunch of editing for this one. Anyway, I want just to remind everyone. So if you've ever given me a super chat or done memberships in the amounts of at least $20, I've announced that you're entitled to have a custom block type dedicated toward you. So one of the next things I'll probably start adding to the game is more new block types, and I think a priority should go to the people who are who've already supported me in the past. And the thing we're going to be working on tonight is working on I did some of these changes last night. I forgot. I didn't have time to merge them in today, so I'll be basically just picking up from exactly where I left off last night, where I finished changing how multi-column characters are encoded. And the consequence of that is I have to do previously, when I have a multi-column character, it would have any of the columns after the first character would just have zeros, but now I have something in it that describes the offset of where to get to this start of the first column of that character, and so that should remove the necessity for all these slow scanning functions that I had. And of course, once that's done and working, I'll run the profiling again to see what is the latest thing that needs to be optimized. And then I'm onto these things, which the circular buffer backing, that some of the work for that has already been completed with the work I did a couple of days ago to move the different members into a character column class, or a screen layer column class, I think I called it. So we can continue with that right now. We're already in September. The days are getting shorter too. It's been cold the last few days. The weather here in Canada is so horrible all the time. It was so blazingly uncomfortably hot, and then immediately after the heat wave, it's now so cold I have to wear a long sleeve. Oh, actually, I want to start from where I was last night. So let's make sure it works. All right, game renders. And the fart function, please. How would that even work? Like, how would you? How would that be represented in the world? All right, that works. It doesn't crash. Now let's see if the tests pass. The fart would break materials. Okay, so it would be like a more advanced way of mining. Would it be more effective or less effective than a pickaxe? I guess it would be the F key. So I think under normal circumstances, this was taking 128 seconds. But I think right now it has a couple validate functions in there that are slowing it down. One 28 seconds. So I think this will once again take about 120 seconds. But I want to rerun this just so I can know exactly how long it takes. I don't want to add changes that make it slower. Interesting. So that verify function was barely adding any delay at all. XIO6778 says I need the vert function. Well, I don't know. I guess this seems like a popular feature request. I wasn't planning on adding that, but I mean, if that's what the market demand is for, then maybe I have to reconsider my business plan. Divine Jawa lives within your heart. That's a good piece of information to know. Thank you for letting me know about that. Thank you for being prepared. I guess. How do you know I'm prepared? What if I'm still getting ready? XPS 720 is holding strong. We're in Half-Life 2. Thanks for the memory videos. Everything seems to be go. Excellent. You are thinking free. Yep, that's true. Can't believe it's breathing. With your videos and a bunch of other research, we got it off. Yeah, if you are interested in all the kinds of problems you can have with memory, you can watch my video called what causes bit flips in memory, which is a very deep dive on all. I try to produce like an exhaustive review of everything that can cause bit flips. It's sad how many machines get trashed just because of RAM. Yeah, I think I've heard another big issue is with older motherboards. There's capacitors on the motherboard, electrolytic ones, and the electrolyte will basically dry out over time, and it changes the capacitance value until it stops working. I had to change about 10 of them to get the power rail to function again. Oh, in the computer that you revived. Yeah, that's a lot further than I've ever gone. I'll usually try to replace the RAM maybe, but beyond that, trying to get an exact capacitor and fix it to the motherboard again, and to isolate it too, because I think when one of them fails, then it could potentially break other components on the board, depending on if it feels short or not. And the value of a good solder sucker, because the solder is so old. Interesting. I never I've tried soldering a few times, but it's really on the limits of my expertise. Roblox is getting sued. Yeah, it's not surprising. I've known for a long time that there's a lot of sketchy stuff that goes on there. There's been lots of I've heard about people expose Roblox on a number of occasions. It's kind of surprising they didn't do something earlier. Older it's soldered, the more it doesn't want to move. Makes replacing caps a pain. It drilled the board. That's risky business. Excuse me, how far away from your goal? I'm getting pretty close. The goal is to raise 12 billion, and I think I think it's maybe around like $2,300 or so in total. I think since I started this campaign. Good thing, but they will only get fined a small amount. Yeah, they're kind of a weird company. Not that risky. Just gotta take your time. Yeah, I guess if it's old stuff that's gonna end up as scrap anyway, that kind of mitigates any of the risk. Okay, this might do what I want. I think I actually tried something similar to this last night, and I crashed at some point. The final goal is to raise $12 billion. If you haven't, I have my check out my plans for world domination video where I go over my world domination plans. All right, that did not work. Hardest part was tickling the motherboard to actually post. Something was confused and to reboot 100 times. Yeah, that makes me wonder if there's some other subtle, sneaky issue waiting for you. Well, that's not right. And it pirated a million books from LibGen to train their LLM. The judge sided with them. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this AI stuff is kind of crazy. It's like, if you steal one book, that's piracy. But if you just steal every book, that's fair use. I don't know where this is going to end up. Happy Labor Day. Thank you very much. Got censored for using the word pirated. Nice. Classic YouTube. I visit a spaceship now. Thank you, Elder Robert. No problem. Enjoy your visit to the spaceship. Roblox might just be straight up banned in the US. Yeah, I don't know. It'll probably be... I have a feeling that it'll just... I don't know. There'll probably be some legal action from it, and then they'll... everything will just keep moving as usual. Got the OS installed. Yeah, hopefully you don't try to boot it one day and it's like dead for no reason because there's like a short in the power supply or something. Got a hand and crank radio for power outages. Neat. It's funny how attack won't sync, but if you keep messing with it, it figures itself out. Well, it can be figuring itself out, or it could be there's like still an intermittent. There has to be some like physical, mechanical reason why it wouldn't post. Systems are not magic. There's AM and FM. What's the most money being made from a live stream? The most money being made, the most money I've made, or the most money someone else has made, or the most profitable thing? Will this run in Temple OS? Probably not. Well, I don't know if someone has got Java to run in Temple OS, then maybe. Doubt anything will happen to Roblox after the current DOJ. Yeah, I think that's probably likely. There'll be some back and forth and some orders issued, but probably no substantial change. They'll just be like, oh, we'll have to implement better protections. We promise to fix this. Okay, that's got bugs. say that just because sometimes computers are picky, want you to move stuff around. I guess, but they're inanimate objects. They don't have independent desires. Computers. Modern computers are so unbelievably complicated. It's a miracle they work at all. How was your experience at AWS? Currently working at Amazon as an IT technician. Want to migrate to AWS as a DevOps engineer. I have a video on my channel about, if you search my channel for Amazon, and that's, I pretty much covered everything, I think, in that. Have been out to stick it in the oven. That's where we saw our bad connections. I guess that's one heuristic, but then you get computer fumes in your oven. Are you playing a game or doing programming work? This is programming a video game. Ridiculous blinker. Not sure what that's in reference to. Now I've got to figure out why. This is different because it's supposed to be the same. So it's fine with single column characters. Some of these machines are not logical in how they express faults. Yeah, if you watch my what causes bit flips in memory video, you'll get an idea of how many things there are that can cause unexpected behavior. It's a miracle that modern computers work at all. accumulation of many intelligent minds together. Yeah, it's not like that, but like the manufacturing miracle of like being able to consistently produce things at scale with like enough, like there's enough statistical significance to actually get a functioning product every now and then. We're making less than $20 a day streaming. Yeah, this whole thing has been it's brought in some revenue. It's also been a bit of an experiment just to see like what happens if I just stream every day. Because I want to work on this thing anyway. The last I think it's probably been 7 days or so. There's been almost no chat revenue at all. It's been zero for the last week or so. I think this may be like one $5 super chat, but it's I'm not sure. There's my channel overall has been trending down. It was like really at the start of the month I was like, oh wow, it's really trending up, and then it just kind of everything like abruptly shut off about halfway through. Although strangely the concurrent viewers, when the stream starts, they're very low, but the concurrent viewers is pretty consistent. I don't know. And I think these streams are not particularly interesting, to be honest. But yeah, I'm surprised. Like the fact that you can make any money at all at this is kind of interesting. So overall, it's just an experiment. If it goes to zero for a long time, then I'll pack it in. But these things are also, like the way the algorithm works is interesting, because sometimes if you do something a whole bunch of times and you get no result from it, if you just keep doing it, then the algorithm kicks in and it's like, oh, we'll just make this one random thing go viral. These machines can print computers. These machines that can print computers is crazy. Yeah, the fact that we have our production of new computers uses the latest computers is pretty interesting. Most of us just home chilling on projects. It's our atmosphere. It's worth the money. Yeah, it's a lot of the chat revenue has been there's been like a small number of consistent super chatters, which I think it's awesome that there are people out there who will support me so much. But at the same time, it's also streaming every single day. I can't. It's unrealistic to, and not particularly ethical to expect, a couple of people to carry things forward. So this has been an experiment to see if there's just enough market in like random people who will give me $5 to maybe make a decent supplement to the overall revenue from. It started off pretty strong, but of course, after 130 days of doing this, it starts to get boring. And also the content's pretty boring. But I don't know, we'll see what happens. I come here because I'm trying to get into the mode of programming. You embody that somehow. Yeah, some people suggested that I should like play video games or something. I could do other things. Like there are things that are more interesting I could do, but that are overall like less productive. So I think I'll probably just stick with this. It's not boring to the right people. Yeah, I check out Twitch sometimes, and I guess I don't really even check out the just chatting category. I click on that sometimes, but this stuff that's there is just it's for kids and stuff. You only stream 2 hours a night, which might be making more than you were at college hourly. At least in the last week, that's not been the case. But I think it's also social media is kind of like a whole. There's like it's a multifaceted experience. Like the like people don't want to follow channels that are just like AI channels, like faceless AI channels that are just scamming and stealing other people's content. I think streaming, like even some of my videos, people are like, this video is AI, but it's definitely not AI, and it took me a long time to make. So if people click on the streams now and then, they'll be like, oh, this is not AI. What made you want to start making a game? Yeah, it's an idea I've had for a while, and I think the approach. So there's a few reasons. Terminal-based video game. There's not much prior art out there for terminal-based video games, and so since most of my audience is interested in Linux and terminal stuff, I decided it probably makes sense to start with this. Because it would be kind of a unique, impressive project. And then a lot of the code, if I wanted to extend this into something more, like even make have a 3D engine or something, or run it from the web, a lot of the code could be common. Although that's that'd be like a longer term thing. And also just I think having text-based graphics makes the bar a lot lower, so I can have a functional game with less development, as opposed to like many other mainstream games that take years. So I can kind of like build and release incremental content and develop cash flow over time as I'm developing it. What are you working on in green text? I'm trying to fix some unit tests with the screen layer merging. What is world domination? I generally thought you were doing some cybersecurity related attack with AI, given the title. Oh, for the world domination, I have a video on my channel called My Plans for World Domination. If you check out that, you'll get some more context on the title. What are you making? A terminal-based video game. Just even though you didn't directly help me with the revival of 7200, your videos kept me going and curious. Your work is valuable. Thank you. Yeah, I think part of developing and building stuff like this is just knowing that there exists a culture. There's like some prior art to look on of other people out there who are also doing Linux-based stuff and homebrew. What do you call it? Like homebrew, self-repair technologists. Have you heard of Grokfest 1? I have not. I thought this was about actual world domination. I support either way. This is one step on actual world domination. It's a long. You gotta start somewhere. Help me accomplish a very desired outcome through inspiration and curiosity. Excellent. I thought about this too. If you're making some LLM powered terminal based game, then I had that idea. But it was so swifty fleeting, since it's definitely something everyone does, and it's low hanging fruit. For now, there's no, there's not going to be any like large language model stuff like this. It's just a precise, discrete game with like a map area and stuff. But I guess it could be. I'd been thinking like if there was like fantasy stuff in it, then that could, an LLM would be maybe good for our brainstorming on that. Honestly, I was actually almost thinking about like hiring writers or something for something like this, because I would think like if you're a writer, if you're like a fantasy writer for video games, it's probably really hard to find a job right now. So I could probably I could probably pay them a very low amount of money because they're having trouble finding work. I'm telling you now, if you look up Grok cast one, you will save you hundreds of hours of doing what you're doing. Grok Gast. Is that a coding tool or something? But LLMs exist. That's silly. They don't produce good output. Bro, I was in the kitchen and I hear you talking about hiring writers. No, please don't do this. I came back. Grom cutting on my from cutting my peach. Yes, they do buy GPT Pro. Yeah, I think it'll be good for brainstorming. I mean, from what I've seen, I haven't actually sat down that much to actually use the large language models for coding, but the output is just, it's not good enough. Like it's I find for most difficult problems, you basically have to explain to the AI how to solve the problem in order to get it to give you back the solution. And is it faster just to like solve the problem yourself? I haven't actually tried using AI that much for writing, but I would think even having like writing that was I think people would like to consume written content that was actually written by a human more than they would like, even if the AI was better at writing, people would pay more for writing that was written by a human. I'm using Grok Fast One. It's working within Visual Code. Using cheat models. I'm talking about like using so there's what is it, VS Code, the one that's on GitHub. Like this code is on GitHub, so you can go there right now and you can ask it questions about the code. But if you ask it how to like fix the problem that I'm working on, it'll give some like general heuristic. And I've tried it a few times, but it's like every single night people come in and ask about like, use AI. What's your opinion on AI? But it's not good enough to be really worth my time. I do think there's a use case for it. There was maybe one time where I was like, wow, this actually could be pretty useful. And then that was for like, that was for creating like a I asked it to create a new class that was similar to another class with like a couple non-trivial modifications, and it did that pretty well. Just press enter. You're basically solving the problem yourself, and AI is acting like it's the one who solved the problem. Yeah, that's kind of how it feels. Don't know what you're talking about. It's exponentially progressing. GPT-5 is on another level. It's the tooling wrapping the LLM in the model. Yeah, I mean, the integration with the LLMs and the code base is also, that's another thing that's a big issue. Like a bunch of times when I've tried to use it, like I'll get like internal server errors and stuff. So I mean I know it's good enough that I can't ignore it, so I will keep coming back to it. But so far, I have not had my like wow. Well, I would say I was more impressed about it early on, and the more I use it, the less impressed I am. Because if you like the most impressive case was like if you ask it to write like merge sort in C with a couple like weird variations or something, it'll do that very well. But then if you ask it like debug a problem in this piece of software, it'll give you heuristics for debugging it. I think AI just have a stigma. I mean, the AI has the stigma, or people have a stigma against the AI. Yeah, it's useful in some situation, but it doesn't keep track of what's going on very well. Yeah, that's a significant, really important point, because like there are times when it gets like 90% of the way there, and then you say like, actually, you need this other piece of information. And it's like, oh right, I can narrow it down. But then as you keep reminding it, it keeps like making the same mistake over and over again. I want to build a tool that can solve the precise problem you're complaining about. Essentially, point and click zero-day hunting through large code bases. You can Google me on HackerOne. Currently on GitLab leaderboard. It all lies in the way you handle context. Yeah, I'm sure it'll get better over time, but I'm not tripping over myself to use it. 3 years from now, programming will be like knowing how to use binary. It will be obsolete. Prompts will be the new programming. I don't think so. Okay, let's try to fix this bug. So that's getting set to null. So that should go in this condition. Oh, actually, that's 0, I think. Oh no, wait, this is not. Okay, that's why. Because it's different on the right to left pass. Tested AI extensively. It's incredibly stupid. It's yeah, the AI and the large language model stuff we have now is it's so impressive. I don't think you could ignore it, but it's so bad that I want to ignore it. That's probably the best way to describe it. Like, I would like to just say, like, I tried it, I can't, it's not good enough. But it is so good. There's definitely something there. I think like every 1% they improve it is going to have massive productivity gains. I do think there are some pretty good individual use cases, and I think the model context protocol, that's the other thing that's being developed a bit more now. Once that's all figured out, that'll make it a lot more accessible. And I'm sure there's tons of optimization with making it possible to use it locally and stuff. That's another huge drawback of it, is the fact that if you use a third-party AI, it's just going to steal all your data. $200K lines. It found 5 high bugs on GitLab bug bounty. Yeah, I do think it could like bug bounty hunting probably would be a decent, if you knew a lot about the system you were attacking, then you could give it like really good hints, and you could use it as it's like an assistant fuzzer. But I haven't tried it for that. It's incredible, scarily good to the extent I genuinely believe I'll be a multi-millionaire in a year. Are you actually making money from bug bounties with it? I guess if so, that sounds like any inefficiency there would get completely mined away pretty quick. 300K? What kind of stuff do you ask it? Do you just say like, find a 0 day in this repository, or do you like kind of prime it with do you have like a wall of text you paste into it of like hints and stuff about specific exploits? We actually a broke loser or something stated in your title. Yep, that was I went over my finances in that video. It's not that competent yet. You have to guide it to certain bug classes and fit the code base. But beyond bug class fitting, that's it. It all comes down to preventing overfitting. Underfitting allows the model to explore. That's a general heuristic. Give me like an example of, like for one of, you said you made 300K so far. So like, what's the biggest bug bounty you've gotten so far from this? It's only the worst it's going to be right now. Remember how bad it was in 2019? Yeah, this is true. That's why you can't ignore it. $36K from a challenge they posted. Completed 1 hour from posting. Google me, I got highest impact on their bug bounty. Nice. I guess if all that is true, then like if you can do that, if an AI is enabling all this, then that means there's going to be a ton of competition soon. So from the 36K bounty, how many prompts did you have to do? And what were some examples? Like, what did you start with for the first prompt? And like, you said it took 1 hour. So, but like, how many prompts deep was that? Currently, hide ISPAID user on their program from singular bounties. Well, that's impressive, I guess. If I get really technical, AI is truly, as you say, it's a guide. High fluid IQ paired with an oracle of info is next level. Automate end-to-end. Do it, and then you'll become a trillionaire. And then you can send me a really big super chat. She was that end-to-end wasn't possible until a couple months ago. Instead, used it to generate code QL queries. I'm not familiar with that. It'll help me understand code faster and overall speed running architecture mental download. 70% of it is mental download speed running of the code base to understand attack surface. The rest is AI directing you. Yeah, I mean, when you, I find even my own code, if I get away from it for a while, I have to spend like a day not coding, just like looking at my code, figuring out where everything is. Tiny bit of that is tedious, greps, and info parsing. Code QL. I'm not even familiar with that. I've never heard of that before. Yeah, if you're, I mean, if you figured out if you found an economic way to leverage AI for bug bounty hunting, then you should mine that inefficiency you found as much as possible. because especially here now, there's 13 people listening right now who are elite hackers who are going to hear what you said, and they're immediately going to compete with you. So you gotta use that as much as possible. Get all those bounties before everyone else takes them. Then it gets too competitive. Now that might work. There's a company that founded recently named Expo. They automated end-to-end on HackerOne, but extremely black box. It's raised to number 1 on the leaderboard in low-hanging fruit. Red teaming black box stuff. I find that disgusting since black box is repulsive. Black box is repulsive. I mean, like they're just not showing their code. You have to ask yourself, why didn't they find bugs on GitLab yet? I'm not sure. I've never really participated in the ecosystem of bug bounty hunting. The issue is combinatorically explosive due to the halting problem. It's code app level auditing. If it's code app level auditing, I don't quite see the connection to the combinatorial explosiveness and the halting problem. Seek to solve it heuristically and make billions. Do it before everyone else in the chat steals your idea. This is the stream where all the top elite hackers hang out. So everyone's listening there, thinking about stealing all these ideas. Too late. Already stolen. See, someone already got there. Likewise, things like throwing data at a web app without internal access. It's a scale problem. Automating end-to-end. A reference holding problem because LLMs are involved, as you claimed yourself. Their bandwidth, context management, and long links. Hence the need for heuristic solution. To maintain context, fit the LLM to bug classes. Is it overfitting? But also not underfitting. Yeah, that makes sense. That is also my intuition about how to correctly use the LLMs. I find I've actually used most of the new generation of AI more for image generation than code, and I find that is if you specify things, if you like make the solution space as wide as possible, that's when you get the best solutions. I'm unironically going through opioid withdrawals. I'm surfing YouTube. I'm back to working on the tool. Well, that's it's good to hear that you're getting yourself onto something more productive. So hopefully you can stick with the programming, making more of that money. Hope to just print $1 million bounty. Do it. What will make billions? Bring personal home AI, like Apple did to desktop. No outside influence. AI belongs to you and no one else. What we need is an AI that can build houses so people can live in them, and then they don't have to raise $1 million bug bounties to buy a house. Why dominate the world? Why do you want to dominate the world? I have a video on my channel called My Plans for World Domination. So in that, I discuss the details of all my plans. All right, let's see if that passes. Well, this might work. Hello. It says Extreme Shivank says hello. How's it going? Sorry if this is crude. Why would you be broke in a day and age where bug bounties exist? You are clearly a seasoned programmer who refuses to touch LLMs, so I'd assume you're competent on your own. I've never done like I've never taken a serious attempt at like pen testing or bug bounties or something before. It's not it's not something I considered because like there's a million ideas where people say like, bro, just do this thing, just start a SaaS company, just get a job at this place, just trade stocks, just buy a house with a credit card. There's a million things where people tell you waste your time and money on this way to make get rich quick. And I've assumed, perhaps incorrectly, that bug bounties are like a massive amount of work. Like I think I would be good at it if I spent if I focused on a specific area and learned the software stack very well. It would probably take like a couple months for me to learn it and then learn all the different exploit approaches and stuff. That's the thing. I don't have a lot. Like I know about buffer overflows and stuff, but I don't have a lot of practical experience exploiting them. So I assume, since there are like a million people who are interested in this stuff, that all the low-hanging fruit is already taken, like any of the small few $1,000 bug bounties. So I probably could, but what I would expect is it would probably take me like 1 year of like working all the time to find $100,000 bug bounty or something, or like I probably invest a massive amount of time before I even find one, and then but then it's like risky, because what if after like a year I don't even find one? Just buy NVIDIA calls. Yeah, that's what I should have done. What I really should have done is dropped out of high school and just bought NVIDIA stock or got a job at McDonald's. That would have made me worth a lot of money. Okay, that's at 126. That's really not that much faster. But it works, and it's going to be simpler, so. I guess that's also with oh, I do have it. Oh, it is commented out. Are you running Ubuntu? Yeah, I just use Ubuntu. It's the easiest thing to. I tried Arch back in the day for a while, and I just found it's the rolling releases means this stuff is broken too much. That's mere unawareness. 1 month to my first 60K on a code base as big as GitLab. I also find it profound you can go this long believing that it's not worth it. I mean, maybe it is, but the question is like, why? Like, there are a lot of other programmers who are at my level. Why are they not all like, multi-millionaires? There are tons of people who are, even more skilled than me, who are not all going after. I mean, maybe they should. Maybe I'm wrong. But the thing is, there's like, there are constantly people who come into chat and they're like, just do this, just do that, just buy NVIDIA calls. That'll work until, betting in the stock market will work until it doesn't. But there's also there's just so many other ideas that you can spend a huge amount of time on thinking it'll work, and then it just doesn't. Might sound crude, but you were just another drop in the bucket of people who have to grieve. Everyone good in trying, so all the low-hanging fruit is gone. Maybe, but I mean, maybe someday I'll get around to trying out bug bounty hunting, but I mean, I'll maybe put it on my to-do list to Google about it, but I'm sure people will say like, I'm sure there's a ton of people who go into it saying they're going to get a lot of money fast and then spend huge amounts of time. I would say the way to succeed at it, you'd have to like learn the toolkit. You'd have to learn the exploit tools and the techniques, and learn how to evade the mitigation measures and stuff. Like, I'm sure the people who do that well have like a collection of ideas in their head about like they know of bugs in the software that are not exploitable yet, and so they just keep like kind of stacking together bugs to find an exploit chain eventually. And all that stuff requires lots of pre-research. If he's doing it, why should I? It all cancels out because everyone thinks the invisible guy who's an elite hacker found them already. But if that's true, it's so easy for... It's not like bug bounties are a secret. There's thousands of people who try that stuff. Which version? I think this is Ubuntu 22 or something. You're crossing a line. I've been suggesting that some search space completion problem is the same as the stock bracket. Yeah, I would say it is. It is pretty much. It is a very different cost-benefit analysis, but I would compare it to the other stuff. Like, people say like, oh, just start a SaaS company, or start this kind of business, or just try taking these kinds of clients. Like, there's an unlimited supply of work to do out there, but the question is, can you squeeze out the money from it? I originally got Ubuntu Lunar Lobster to work when I first got it. Ever since the voltage hit it, doesn't want to use Lunar Lobster. Ever since the voltage hit? You mean like physical voltage? So you had a voltage incident and you can't install a specific version of Ubuntu? It's not very good. You're literally borderline delusional. There's not thousands of people looking at these code bases. Just look at it statistically. I mean, there's a bare minimum statistical due diligence. Yeah, I mean, I actually, I promise you, I will Google a bit about bug bounty hunting and like how lucrative it is. It is something I've thought about. I've wondered like, should I be maybe doing this? And I have heard I think some anecdotal reports from people who say like, you know, it is enormously time consuming, and it's not a get rich quick thing. Prefer to write bugs. Yeah, it's too bad there isn't a bug introduction program. I don't know, I guess that probably exists. I guess if you get a job working for like the U.S. government or something, you could get paid to add bugs to adversarial countries' software. Very time consuming. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of the, like anything that gets a lot of use, like Apple software, I would imagine that a lot of people have actually, like there's been a lot of people who have tried, who've tested out the attack surface before. Not sure if that does seem faster or not, but at least this will let me reduce the code. I'm like world class. You're listening to these random chatters to feed this idea that some statistical edge you have is slipping by. But yeah, you said it yourself. You said it yourself. You're world class. What if I'm not world class? That's why you're getting all these bug bounties, making all the money. So I'm not world class. Yeah, I think exploit primitive. We're kind of talking in circles at this point. You're getting kind of close to spamming the chat at this point. You're gonna Google me? Sure. I'll put it on my to-do list. I often forget a lot of the conversations I have on stream, but if I think of it, I will add it to my to-do list for sure to like Google bug bounty, because maybe it is more lucrative. Like maybe I'm kind of sleeping on it and it's a easy way to get rich fast. But like I said, there's lots of people competing for that stuff. Is it illegal to spend my opioid withdrawal suffering time on random tech guys channel? No, but just reduce your chatting rate a little bit. And I think we've taken the bug bounty conversations to its logical conclusion. I'll definitely Google for it a bit to see like what are some, because I'm sure there's tons of stories people have about their experience out there. Bug bounty hunting, when what the typical like I'm sure there's a lot of stuff to learn about it, because I've heard of cases where people spend a lot of time finding these bug bounties and then the company doesn't actually pay out. What are you doing? What if you're asking what I'm doing? Right now, making continued progress on trying to optimize the screen layer printing, or specifically, I have a function to merge together screen layers, and there's some really bad code in it, and I'm working on improving that. Very inefficient code. No, I don't think that function was even used. Wow. $150. That's huge. I did not expect that. CIA agent don't know? Yeah, I don't know. Thank you very much. That's wow. Thank you very much for the $150. Yeah, I hope you're doing all right. Yeah, you said you're on opioid withdrawal. I hope you are indeed doing well and getting your 30K bug bounties, and you're not in that's not money you're going to regret parting with, but thank you very much for that. See, I missed a couple of things in the chat. Insults, then I don't know. It's fine. No, it seems like I'm trolling. I'm just a pill addict. Well, you don't have to. I hope you're. I hope you're well capitalized and rich, as you say you are. Because if you are indeed in that kind of situation, then you probably need the $150 more than I do. I think there is a. If you do end up regretting that, I think there's a way. I think it is possible to do chargebacks. You have to send to if you can just Google it. But so if you wake up tomorrow and you're like, oh crap, what did I do? I think it is possible. There was a way to charge back super chats, even though it says they're non-refundable. But yeah, thank you very much. That's it. It's weird how the daily revenue will go down for a long period of time, but then it just seems to I find it always that way. If I don't get any super chats at all for a while, then by random chance someone will donate a really huge one. Yeah, that's awesome. That'll last month's revenue was super low, so that's a great start for this month. Wow. Are you sure? It's corny. I don't know if I call it corny. It's incredibly generous. I hope that. Well, like I said, I think there's a way. If you wake up tomorrow or something and you realize that you made a huge mistake, then I think there is a way to do chargebacks, so you can probably get that back if you regret it tomorrow. Once you finish your opioid withdrawal. Corny attention seeker. I'm so bored. Didn't like when they said I was trolling. I mean, people. I guess I should intervene and encourage people in chat to be nice, but at the same time, they're just. there's random people who like to push other people's buttons. That doesn't mean you have to just send a huge super chat like that. But that's incredibly. I think that's the most that anyone has ever super chatted in a single live stream. I think it cuts you off at some point. So I'd say no more for tonight. Have take some time to reflect. I do think you should look into bounties. Change your life. You're a talented man. Well, thank you for the kind words. I will take a look at it. It is something I thought about periodically, but I'd always just assumed that it would just take it would be a thing I would spend a ton of time on, and like I think the real I think where you'd really start making a lot of money is if you focused on one specific piece of software and then just learned the software and all its quirks very well, because then you'd get an intuition for where the bugs were. But that would take a long time. But I guess if there's I don't know if there's some. I guess if it's like bug bounties for the GNU core utils or something, I bet I could find some exploits in the GNU core utils commands. But I guess that there's probably no big bug bounties for that. But bro, you're gonna gaslight like that? Good gaslight attempt. I don't know. Are you talking to me or the other chatter? What is this game you're making about? What's the plot? Currently, there's no defined plot. I'm mostly just been focused on trying to make it performant, to get some of the basic features. Exploit. You not reading this SHD? I'm not sure what you mean about the gaslighting or Ryan Sterling Young. But either way, I think it'd be nice to exploit for tonight. I think he earned it for the those incredibly generous super chats. Are you the sole developer? Yes. Yeah, it's a project I've been working on for a while. Yeah, you can the GitHub. There's a GitHub link in the description below, but it should be below the on the channel. Proceed with the gaslighting. I don't really understand. I don't really understand why you would call that gaslighting. He's just encouraging me to do bug bounties. Okay, that function was not used. one of the consequences of the change I made of this new format of doing the widths means there's, I think, a few different new opportunities for optimization in here. The way I see it, everything is a search space problem. And probability of someone looking where you're looking drops exponentially as you go deeper down layers of combinatorial explosion. Yeah, that does make sense. I guess it makes sense how you could use that, like what you just said, as a heuristic for this kind of bug bounty searching. But at the same time, I'm not sure it is not clear to me if the advantage you'd get in probing that search space would be that much better with AI. But maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'll Google about it a bit as you requested. Are you taking any inspiration for your game? Old school RuneScape, Terraria? Honestly, I would say that I would almost consider it like a it could be like a generalization of many types of games. Like even I think the strongest component of it is well, a lot of people make games that are like narrative driven, or they're focused around a theme or a game mechanic. But I guess in my where I'm coming from on it is just thinking about how if you made a good enough engine, how you can you could easily and quickly implement a lot of different game mechanics and features on top of a good engine, specifically one that can like store regions of space. Like I was thinking, just the simple idea of being able to navigate 3D space in the terminal it's a pretty general concept. But then you could also have like stuff on top of it. So you could, I mean, now with AI, you could even generate like AI generated skins, and then you could have like a 3D representation of the same world, but also you could still connect to it with the with another client when it runs in the terminal. And I think the ability to just add new features quickly, that's kind of what I'm going for. Yeah, it definitely helps, but another large part of general competitive search space stuff is just acknowledging you must go deeper than others. There's definitely value to scale. Scale is huge edge. What I mean is, imagine one small code base manually audited. Well, then your other elite hackers are looking, holds up. But now imagine thousands of those. You have LLM APIs at your fingertips. Yeah, I do imagine that there's going to be like an explosion of the ability to like probe through a lot of this stuff, because there's a lot of open source repos and people say, oh, it's open source, so people like find all the bugs and issues. But then there's stuff like the OpenSSL, the go to fail bug that was in that OpenSSL library that nobody found. But the other end of that is like large language models are also available now to everyone, though. So the competitive advantage, if you're the only one using the LLM, I guess if you learn to use it, if you learn to use the AI better than everyone else, you will have an early mover advantage. But the question is, how long will that last? Because if it's lucrative, then it's going to attract a ton of people. By mere statistical definition, you already won. The missing edge in the search space is yours for the taking. Bell curve is a great heuristic. Almost never stop thinking about it when chopping down search space. If LLMs get more successful, these bounties will start dropping. Yeah, that's what I assume. Is like there's I'm not saying that your whole idea is wrong, but if it is in fact as lucrative as you say, the reward is going to go down pretty quick. But there could be there might be a short-term arbitrage where you could just pull in a few million before everyone else starts doing it. You'd be in the best position to do that if you're already familiar with a particular piece. These bug bounties. What specific? I think you said it was in GitLab. You found a bug bounty. Do you have access to the internal source code that you're finding the bug in, or is it you have to you have an API you can talk to and that's it, and you have to guess what's going on inside of it? Sounds very interesting. Reminds me of the game Dwarf Fortress, originally using terminal Texas graphics. Yeah, I think a lot of people have mentioned that. In some ways, I almost when it comes to a story. I've looked into Dwarf Fortress a bit, and I would almost say, in terms of the maybe narrative based stuff in story, I would also almost say it's the opposite. I would like it to be the opposite of Dwarf Fortress. I would kind of like it. I would like to start it off with trying to focus more on realism in a lot of the kind of fictional narratives and stuff. That's honestly not really what interests me. I'm mostly interested in just building a I don't know, more consistent. I think for now, I'm just going to focus on actual mining. I'm going to continue adding new sponsored block types, and then maybe eventually add more sophisticated actual mechanics related to real mining. Bro is world class. He's not going to share his secrets. We're just poor peons. Well, I am skeptical, but he's certainly generous, too generous, in fact. Use the tools better than others. It's more than enough. Search space expands. Larger search space. More bug hunter, larger search space. I guess you said you found 36. You got a 36K bug bounty for GitLab, was it? How am I being hated for giving great advice and money? I'm not hating on you. My opinions do not reflect the opinions of other commenters. So I come off strong. You do come off strong. You were chatting pretty frequently, but I mean, I am kind of obligated to be a bit nice to you, given those incredibly huge super chats. I do hope that isn't putting you out, and I hope you did in fact get your 36k bug bounty to pay for that. I mean, Uni currently and AI courses are just becoming available as of this year. Back when I was in school, there were some AI courses. They were not like LLM-based ones, but just like classical AI. I never ended up taking them. My head hurts. I'm just I don't think so. It's full circle. Minecraft was dumbed down Dwarf Fortress. Now he's making Minecraft with character art. Now this will be better than Minecraft. No one is hidden, but you kind of gaslighting. I know Exploit is trying to be persuasive. I wouldn't call him gaslighting. Gaslighting is a bit more. I think gaslighting is a more serious accusation. I mean, sometimes people get super excited about a new idea, and they come into chat, and they really want to convince me of their idea. And I'm not against that, as long as people obey as long as people are not too aggressive, or as long as they're not spamming the chat. Really just tells you how to search in black box architecture. Doesn't really teach. It doesn't really teach. About the AI course, yeah. How does okay? Oh, so course on how to use AI. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I thought you meant like about computer science AI courses. That's interesting. Society is evolving, catching up with the times. Yo, I have a great idea that requires you do all the work. I get half the money. Wow, that sounds like a great idea. I'm really excited to work with you. Is it an idea for some kind of AI startup? Or is it an app idea? But this, instead of talking about being world class, let's talk about what is really going on here. We live in a world where society is evolving and people are using AI now. It's crazy. No one wants to talk about it. Lots of people do talk about it. I get questions about it pretty much every stream. If you're all gaslighting money-making schemes, make Java-based botting software. I could make a bot to play my terminal-based mining program. How is it not on the news more? Yeah, I guess in one sense it is. That is kind of a good question. Like I do see news anchors and stuff mention AI a lot in the context of like the dangers of AI, or like they just mention it in passing, but there's not a lot of segments that specifically analyze like how it's changing society and stuff. People have Copilot AI on their phones now. It's insane how much it could help the world. Yeah, Google, like, I honestly, I've never even used this feature, but a family member was telling me about like, is it Google Gemini or something? You can just take a picture of an object and then like ask Google what the object is, and it'll like know what it is and recognize it and understand it. And this is a feature they released. Like, it's a very, very powerful feature. I didn't even know about it, and I don't even use it, and it's in my phone. On an individual basis, AI will be used like Siri, but if you pack it into an app, you can look at your fridge and tell you what you have ingredients for. That's kind of a boring application these days. We've had apps like that for a long time, but recipe apps. People are just now using language and speech abilities to talk to each other. How is that just now a thing? I mean, like AI translations. The average person isn't going to do anything beyond basic questions. I don't know. I think even like one in 5 or 1 in 10 people are gonna. I think the more people use AI, the more they learn what it can do, the more aggressive they're going to get with the questions. Don't even need to know other languages. Almost. You still do. The AI is not perfect yet, but it's getting there. Learning languages at school is kind of obsolete. Yeah, in some ways, I'm sure that is kind of defeating now, to learning a second language. I mean, it takes so much work to learn a language and a culture, but then the AI can just own you immediately. Google Translate, been around forever. Yeah, it's I haven't tried it recently, but from what I understand, like I've heard from that a common thing is people go to Japan and then use the Google Translate Japanese feature, and the translations it gives are like really terrible, and it causes people a lot of problems. If you weren't a programmer, can you imagine something you'd use AI for? I think a lot of it there is like people just don't even know what AI can do, and I'm sure like random people in the street, there's probably still a lot of people in society who don't even know that the AI exists. Like they don't even know it's available and what it's capable of. Like I'm in tech all the time. I'm always on my computer, but I didn't even know that my phone can like recognize objects and stuff. I didn't know that was a thing. It's going to take a while for people know what's actually possible, and then they'll start actually using it. If you notice, it wasn't until I know that, but if you notice, it wasn't until recently everyone started using it. We have tools we don't even know exist. Yeah. More lonely back in the day, but now everyone has super powerful phones. Or more low-key than back in the day. Yeah, even just even keeping track of what's going on. I mean, I'm having trouble keeping track of like. I generally try to stay up to date on like. Well, I cannot help but try to stay up to date on what is going on in the world, like geopolitically and stuff. But like recently, I mean, it seems like we're kind of escalating toward World War III. And just keeping track of the deluge of like information and geopolitical craziness, like new wars and protests starting everywhere. I mean, even that, we've got that going on. We've got so many things going on at once. It's really overwhelming. There's not enough hours in the day to process it all. Now, I need to make this function simpler. I seem to remember think there's a better way to do the bounds calculation. What we really need is to invent some kind of AI helmet that helps us understand and communicate better. What's holds us back is our distorted ability to communicate and understand each other's pain. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of deep philosophical questions you could have on that. We got a lot of we've got a lot of really serious problems in the world. It's too bad that AI can't fix them all. Transmit thoughts, Vulcan mind meld style. Eventually we'll be there. That's what Elon Musk is trying to do with the brain chips. We can hang out with Game Dev Chad's mom and listen to her pain. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could use AI to fix all the wars that we have in the world. But I think it will probably actually have the opposite. AI will just help us escalate World War III extremely rapidly. What's wrong exactly? Everything that's happening is what people wanted and voted for at various levels of government. Yeah, I mean, some people got what they wanted, and then other people voted the way that they thought was correct, but their candidate didn't get in. And then there's other countries that they're not exactly. Some countries are not democracies in the first place, and some of them are less well-functioning democracies. And there's a lot of people in the Middle East that didn't get what they voted for. Now I think I can reduce the area that's covered with a similar bounds calculation like this. Maybe. Well, let's turn that back on. I did not test this. No one talks about how warfare is going to change now that we have drones outfitted with AI. That's an insane pivot in human evolution. Yeah, I think that is very underappreciated. I guess in my YouTube feed, there's a lot of like military stuff that comes up, so I'm somewhat up to date with like this, what's going on in the front lines. But the general public is like way behind. Like the average person, I think, doesn't even really know that drones are being used in the battlefield. But apparently the reality is it's completely changed how a lot of the front lines are. Like in Ukraine, like historically, it used to be you'd have a lot of people in a trench, but it's basically spread the front line out a lot more. And I've heard that I think the stats were something like 95% of fatalities are drone fatalities. And it's also meant that like the modern front line is a lot more porous. So it's like because you used to have to like physically walk through a trench and stuff like that, but now you can send a drone in, or like one person can sneak way behind the front line and like send a bunch of drones in. I mean, it's kind of horrifying. And I think the effectiveness of the attack that Ukraine did on the Russian bomber fleet with the drones, with those like hidden drones they were sent in trucks, like that can potentially happen here too. To make and program drones with those capabilities will always create jobs for those of us that understand it. Yeah, I guess that's going to be the new economy now. All these laid off programmers are going to have to get jobs making weapons to fuel the war machine. Said that AI is being used for more bad than good. Might be like a 1948 situation. World has changed so fast. It's a little scary. I bet most people don't even know about Palantir. Yeah. There's so many things going on in the state of the art. And I also like in the news that I read about, like it really seems like there's a way more military escalations now. That like they're like historically there's always a war going on somewhere, but there's a lot more escalations recently. They don't really seem to get reported in the mainstream media. Is programming market really that bad? I'm from Ontario as well. Honestly, I'm not. I'm not actually that sure about programmers. I have heard it's like it's at least it's the worst it's been in at least 10 years. I'm not sure what it's actually like trying to get a job here as a programmer in Canada. I do know someone who works in like other sciences, and they're having trouble. They've been having trouble getting a job up here in the Toronto area for it's been like a couple of years now, and they've got like 700 resumes or something out. They keep getting interviews, but and they're actually already employed, but the place they're working for is kind of a dead end. Weapons manufacturing in that regard will take over in major countries. There's money to be made. Is there though? Because I mean, prolonged warfare. It in the long term, it just destroys resources. Like in the short term, it's the government can just print money into existence. But eventually, if we take all of our best materials and people and weapons and drones and stuff, and we just throw them, to the meat grinder, then it's going to consume a lot of resources. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. With that note, I think I'll probably call it a night. The test pass. I got that change figured out. Thank you very much to I forget your entire username, but exploit the very generous super chatter. That's a really huge donation. Hopefully you'll get over your opioid withdrawal. Everyone is going to rush at making the first AI robot army. Like space race. And they're already doing that with AI drones. Exploit primitive. There you are. Yeah, have a good night, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for day 131. All right, talk to you later.